Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the Season 6 premiere of HBO's Game of Thrones. Of course, this week we've seen, like I said, the Season 6 premiere, which is called The Red Woman. And yeah, it's been a while, guys. Of course, I did review the Season 4 finale, and I reviewed I reviewed all of Season 5, except there might have been one that I had to make a little bit shorter. But I was really looking forward to Season 6 of Game of Thrones. Very glad it's back on. And of course, one of the biggest questions we all have going into Season 6 is, Jon Snow. Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he dead for good? Of course, that's pretty much been the entire hype for the season, really. And I'm on the boat of thinking he's going to be resurrected somehow. He's obviously dead right now. It's not really a question to me. But I do think he's going to be brought back at some point somehow this season. I'm sort of thinking maybe the second half of the Season 6 episodes, maybe. So probably like in the mid to the later part, we'll start seeing more about it. That's my guess. But there's just a lot going on in this episode. Game of Thrones, their premieres are usually, I don't want to say choppy because that sounds like a bad thing, but we just have so many characters in quite a few different areas. So we see Meereen, we see King's Landing, we see what's going on with Sansa and Theon around Winterfell and stuff like that, and Braavos too. So we get to sort of reconnect with a lot of the characters. The only characters we really didn't see in this episode were Bran, I think. Of course there could have been others I'm forgetting about right now, but it is after 12:30 at night right now, so don't blame me. And I also apologize for the lateness of this review. I know it premiered back on Sunday, but I had to work that night and I had to spend time with my girlfriend today, but we watched it together. She's a big Game of Thrones fan too. We were going to do a video on it together, but we were both kind of tired, just kind of wanted to relax for today, but I still did want to get my video out for you guys one way or another. I know it's late, some people probably won't watch this review, or not too many of you guys anyway, but I still like to get my thoughts put out there. I do plan on reviewing each episode of the season again. Again, they may be late, but I'll do what I can, get them out to you guys when I can. But like I was saying, you basically got to check in with almost all of our characters minus Bran. And we do know that we're going to be seeing Bran this season. There have been plenty of reports about it. He was in the trailer, obviously. But my highlight of the episode was probably actually the stuff with Sansa and Reek, or Theon towards the beginning. But we also had some other really good stuff going on with, of course, what was going on at the Wall, of course, the Watch. And we see, since I sort of started off talking about Jon Snow, I'll sort of talk about that part of it at first. We see Davos and I forget the guy's name. Give me a second. People are going to kill me for forgetting names on this show. That kind of happened with the Season 4 premiere. I forgot a certain character's name and the comments got kind of ugly. But we basically have Davos and a few of the other Night's Watch members that are actually loyal to Jon Snow, sort of protecting his body, as well as Ghost. Who is, you can see he's Pauling, he's trying to get out. He probably heard what happened, to Jon Snow, and that probably really upset him. And so, Davos and the others, let Ghost out because they're going to need all the protection they can get, to, do what they're doing here. And basically we sort of have a standoff really with Davos and Sir Alistair Thorne. And, Thorne is trying to get Davos to open the door, trying to make it sound like he can make a deal with him, send him on his way, give him a fresh horse and, food if he wanted for the way back. But, it's obvious that if they open the door, they're all just pretty much going to die. And also the fact that, they won't really give Jon Snow an honorable, resting place either. They won't just, bury him or burn him. Obviously they have to burn him, for the, make sure he doesn't come back, but after that, it wouldn't really, they won't really be so careful in the process either. And who knows how they do with it before they actually burned it anyway. And Davos is sort of talking about how they also always have the Red Woman, Melisandre. So a lot of people are thinking that, Melisandre is going to be the one to resurrect Jon Snow. She might be it. That's what a lot of us are expecting, though. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I think there's going to be some way, somehow, that Jon Snow is going to be brought back. Could be Melisandre, but there might be another way. That way you don't really know right now. And Melisandre, she's in a different place as well. But I did like the standoff between Davos and Alistair, Thorne. Sort of the back and forth between them two, and Davos sort of sarcastically playing along to, saying, "Oh, thank you," and I thought that was kind of funny in a way. What we're probably going to get more on that once we actually get further into the season. Melisandre also mentions that she's seen Jon Snow fighting at Winterfell in the flames, and I still think that's going to come true. But Melisandre, like I said, she's in a different place this season. She's in probably a place of self-doubt, just completely, just in a place she hasn't been before. She doesn't know where she is. She's lost faith in everything she believed in. She legitimately believed in, the Lord of Light, and everything that surrounds that, and because it was apparently so wrong with Stannis, she doesn't really know what to do with herself at this point. She's just kind of lost all ambition, motivation. And of course, a lot of people are talking about what we get to see of her at the end of the episode. And I'll probably just talk about that right now before I forget, but I'm sure most of us kind of want to forget the sight. She takes off this necklace and she basically, shows her true form, in her private quarters. And, she basically has the body of an old woman, probably 90, 100 years old, probably older than that, which is interesting. We all kind of knew she had some kind of witchy type powers and stuff like that, and it's kind of like a common point to certain witches that they actually age, where they try to sort of like either sustain themselves somehow or try to keep themselves with a youthful appearance. So it's not unheard of. We've seen stuff like this in things from Snow White to Merlin, to different things of that nature. But we never really seen Melisandre without that necklace, so it kind of makes sense that it would be a key to something. It's not just for for her fashion sense. So I thought that part was interesting. Like I said, it's probably gonna be even more exciting when we get further into the season and get more answers on what's gonna happen with Jon Snow. But it was intense with the standoff. Like I said, I did like that quite a bit. And Sansa was going off. Sansa, of course, her and Theon being on the run, just jumping off at the end of, towards the end of season 5. And of course, they're on the run. Ramsay sends, some of his best hounds after him. And, that's something else. I want to see the actual hound again. I think he's still alive. But anyway, I don't need to talk about that every video I do on this show. We also have Ramsay mourning. I think, again, I'm probably going to be killed for forgetting characters' names and certain things about them. Just give me a second. Yes, please, have patience, guys. Anyway, for some reason I just have trouble with certain... Miranda, of course. I apologize, guys. Again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and it's almost 1 a.m. now, so I apologize. But, yeah, Miranda, we see him sort of mourning over her corpse. Of course, after Theon threw her off, to protect Sansa and help her escape towards the end of the last season. And, he sort of talks about how he admired just her... strength and ferocity in the way she'd carry herself, basically. And he probably seen part of himself in her too. And then you think, okay, maybe he actually cared about something in his own way, and he kind of did. But then he makes the comment saying, burn her, but if the bury her, but if the meat's good, then feed her to the dogs. So yeah, he's not quite still keeping that way about him, so that's cool. But yeah, it was intense seeing Sansa and Theon on the run. Hearing the Hound slowly behind them, and I liked the whole snow type of environment and stuff. I thought it looked really nice. Game of Thrones is such a high quality show with the visuals, the setting, the environments, the acting, just the general story writing, dialogue. It's just one of the absolute best shows on TV right now. No damn question about it. But like I said, Theon ends up trying to give himself up for Sansa, but the men end up finding her anyway. And what a lot of us thought was going to happen does happen. With Brienne being in the area after killing Stannis, she shows up, and her and Podrick end up fighting off most of the men. Theon even gets to kill one, which is pretty cool. And when Brienne showed up, it was pretty awesome. Thinking if she can beat the Hound, even though the Hound was a little bit injured or infected with that wound at that point, she still beat the Hound in a certain sense. And so when I see her fighting those guys, I'm like, come on, you can do this. And she did. And then she swears to give her life for Sansa's. Sansa accepts, but she had to have Podrick sort of remind her of what to say. And so, a lot of us knew this was going to happen, but I still think it was a good development nonetheless. And I was a little worried that they were actually going to get captured again, or at least maybe Theon would be killed and Sansa would somehow be able to escape. But they're both safe, at least for now, although I think Theon's time is probably numbered. If not this season, maybe season 7-ish, I'd say. Especially with the final 2 seasons supposedly going to be shorter and stuff, so this might actually be our last full 10-episode season. But we talked about that in a previous video. Even if their seasons are shorter coming up, they're just going to deliver, the quality and the stuff that's going to happen. If they condense it like that, it's just going to be awesome either way. So I really like the Sansa and Theon Brienne stuff. I thought that was my personal favorite part of the episode. We also had a little bit of Tyrion and Varys, and they're sort of figuring out what to do. With the Mother Dragons no longer being around, they're starting to be sort of not riots, but people sort of starting to ask a lot of questions, sort of scrambling to figure out what to do and how to build themselves back up in the streets. You see Tyrion and Varys is sort of strolling through Varys' comments on the way. Tyrion carries himself like, basically like he's, sort of stuck up, or like he owns what he's walking on and stuff. And Tyrion makes a comment about Varys not having a cock. I like the relationship between them two. They buddy, they kind of go at each other like that, but at the same time they have mutual respect for the other's intelligence, and they do have sort of a friendship, which we kind of see more about at the end of last season. But the key thing to this, we didn't see them for very long, but we did see how the ships are actually burned. We don't know if it's the Sons of Harpy or another group or something like that, but chances are it's probably the Sons of Harpy at this point. But I'm not sure if they're going to get as much of a concentration as they did last season. But either way, that's definitely an issue, because now they're not going to be able to sail to where they want right away if Daenerys does return. But we know that part will probably be saved for towards the end of the series, I'd imagine. But it's still cool seeing him. Tyrion, my absolute favorite character on the show, no question. Peter Dinklage and the character just have such a screen presence, and I always like seeing him, even if he's not doing a whole lot in the particular episode. It's still good to check in with him and Varys. So that was good. Jorah and Daario, of course, they're still looking for Daenerys, and she was, sort of captured by. Why am I suddenly forgetting the name of them? The Dothraki. And of course, those are the same people that Khal Drogo was a part of back in season 1. And at first they kind of, taunt her a little bit, saying how they want to do this and that with her and stuff like that. But eventually she tells them that she is married to, she is the wife to Khal Drogo, and Khal Drogo and most of the rulers like that in their culture, have like a very large amount of respect. And so I was able to sort of get her through it, then the current ruler, sort of says, no one can touch her now, we have to treat her with respect, but now she's going to be taken somewhere else. I don't know what's going to happen there. But she did leave sort of the ring she had for, Jorah and Daario to find. Of course, Jorah still has the grayscale developing, so I'd imagine we're going to see him, die, this season or the next for sure. But I'm sure he'll be able to have some sort of reconnection with Daenerys before then. I'm sure they'll find her eventually. I'm just not sure how smooth it's all going to go with her being taken back. But, she'll get back there eventually. It's just a matter of time. So that was fine. My girlfriend actually took notes. If I took notes on every specific thing in every scene of Game of Thrones, it'd probably be pages long. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't take notes for it this week. But she just basically made a large list of all the characters that we've seen, which is kind of the way I went about it last season. It was sort of, helping to remind myself of what happened by remembering what characters we've seen. I'm like, oh yeah, this person did this and that. This happened to them. Let's see what else. I already talked about Brienne and Jon Snow. We also had Sand Snakes, and as well as Oberyn's wife. They kill his brother, because they believe him to be spineless and weak. They need to take action. They need to take vengeance. It's been long awaited. They're already getting frustrated about it last season. We also checked in with Jaime and Cersei. Cersei sort of talking about the prophecy that the witch had for her, which we kind of seen a flashback of towards the earlier part of season 5. Sort of saying how our children were doomed, and Talmon's probably going to be the next one up, and how she has sort of seen the death of Marcella coming. Jaime sort of tells her there's no fate, it's inevitable and stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Jaime takes it upon himself, now he's back to sort of go back to that High Sparrow and deal with him. Hoping we see Sir Gregor get involved with that too. It should be pretty brutal, pretty fun. Because even though Cersei's been definitely a character we've all pretty much hated, or in my case I kind of love to hate her. I appreciate how well Lena Headey portrays her and stuff. But a lot of us seem to be on her side when it comes to coming back to the High Sparrow, so it should be pretty interesting. We also have Marjorie. She's not willing to. She says she has nothing to confess. And yeah, so those are really my thoughts on the episode. I think I kind of touched on most of the characters that we've seen, I think. And again, Game of Thrones is such a large show. I'm sure there's things I definitely forgot. Of course, Arya Stark, how dare I forget her. Of course, she's still blind. I'm sure there's definitely more developing with that. It's definitely part of her training, her continued training with, the Faceless. And, see her, she's sort of in the streets, sort of like reaching out for money and stuff. And then the main girl who serves him, the money-faced dude. Again, people are going to kill me for forgetting names. But, she tries to fight her, and then, she just easily gets outmaneuvered, of course, not being able to see. But maybe she'll develop Daredevil-like powers or something, or maybe eventually she'll, get her sight back, because she's earned it in their eyes or something like that. But, stuff is okay for now. Again, it's one of those things that's probably going to get better as it goes along. We're only sort of starting to build up to where that's going. Same thing with what I talked about with the whole, Night's Watch and Davos, Jon Snow, Red Woman situation right now. But, yeah, so those are my thoughts on the episode. But, pretty good premiere. It wasn't like one of the greatest episodes ever, but definitely served as a very good opening episode to the season for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to watching more of it. Like I said, I plan on reviewing every episode this season. It's just, it'll be within the next, couple days of each episode that airs, but I'll be sure to do a video on each one of them every week, at some point at least. I also have to do a review for the Fear the Walking Dead episode this week, and Containment is on tomorrow night as well, but I'm working. So what I'll probably do is watch Fear the Walking Dead within the next few days, get a review out for you guys then, and then watch Containment. And of course, they have the 100 coming up, Vampire Diaries Original, so it'll be pretty jammed, but I'll try to pull it off as best I can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, very good premiere. Definitely looking forward to seeing where the season goes. If you guys enjoyed the video, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and look for me on spoiledbud.com. Catch you guys next time, and peace. And yes, if I'm actually home on a Sunday, I'm definitely focusing on Game of Thrones and Penny Dreadful. Count on it. Looking forward to Penny Dreadful next weekend, too. It's going to be awesome. See you.